So let us see the purpose and overview of input modeling. The input models provide the driving force for a simulation model. So here we study this modeling this input data. So for example, in case of single channel queue, the input data is inter-arrival time distribution and service time distribution. Or if you consider inventory system, the input data is the demand and lead time. So the quality of the input is no better than the quality of inputs. So what here it means this, if you provide the good input or the quality of the input is good, then the output quality also will be good. So in this chapter we discuss the four steps of input model development. So what are the steps here is collect the data from the real system. So what it means is, if the data is available and if it is the real world data, then you collect the data directly from the real system, or else you may have to generate the datas. Okay, so next step you have identify the probability distribution to represent the input process. So you may be having variety of probability distributions. Maybe we consider variable distribution, normal distribution, or a log normal distribution, or exponential distribution, or you have Poisson distribution. So variety of distributions are available. So you may have to choose and identify which probability distribution is suitable for you for the present data. Okay, next you have choose the parameters for the distribution. So for each and every distribution you have different parameters. For example, lambda, alpha, beta, they are the different parameters we use in case of different distributions. So you may have to choose the parameters considering particular distribution. So next you have evaluate the chosen distribution and parameters for the goodness of fit. So you have chosen certain distribution and you have to test now for the input data. So you may be going for different kinds of testing the data, maybe chi-square test or KM test or goodness of fit test. So these are the different tests that may be used for evaluating the chosen distribution. So the first step in the modeling the input data is the collection of the data. So let us see what do you mean by collection of data. So it is one of the biggest tasks in the solving a problem. Okay, so here we are going to use GIGO, that means garbage in, garbage out. That means what here it means is, if you provide the input is a garbage input, okay, you get the garbage output. Okay, so the collection of data plays a very important role in input modeling. So it takes large portion of the time and is most difficult task also. So if the data is not available, in most cases, suppose the data is not available, experts' opinion can be used to guess the data. The following points may be kept in mind while collecting the data. The first point is planning the data. This can be done by pre-observing the sessions. So by pre-observing the system, one has to decide what kind of data is to be collected and in which format. So next point here is analyze the data it has to be collected. So while collecting the data, analyze it. So that means see whether the adequate data is collected and whether unnecessary data is being collected. So avoid collecting unnecessary data. Try to combine the homogeneous data. So that means, what do you mean by homogeneous data? So set of data having the same meaning. For example, successive time periods during the or you say one set of data that is between 1 a.m. to 2 p.m. Okay, that has a homogeneous data, or the during the same time during period on successive days, that may be from Monday to Friday, like this. So you have to combine these homogeneous data sets. Okay, be aware of data censoring. So the quantity is not observed in its entirety. So while collecting the data, you have to be aware of the possibility of data censoring, in which the quantity of interest is not observed in its entirety. So this problem most often occurs when the analyst is interested in the time required to complete some process. Okay, but the process begins prior to or finishes after the completion of the observation period. So here you have to see whether your interested data is being observed. Okay, don't collect the unnecessary data. You have to be on which data is which is important, that you have to collect it. So while the quantity is not observed in its entirety, means when you collect the complete data or whole set of data, okay, the quantity is not observed. Okay, what is interested in your particular data? Maybe you say the time during the treatment of a patient, so that is very important period. Okay, that is very important. So be aware of data censoring there. Okay, check for relationship between the variables. Okay, so identify the relationship between different variables by making using of scatter diagrams. Okay, you can go for usage of the scatter diagrams to understand the relationship between the different variables. Check if the variables are autocorrelated. The next one. Okay, clearly understand the difference between the input and output and try to correct input data only. So after collecting the data, the appropriate distribution has to be followed by the data and should be identified. So histogram is usually used for this purpose. So how do you identify the distributions? That is using the histograms. And then you have to select the families of distribution. Parameter estimation has to be done, and goodness of fit tests, some few tests also you have to do for the particular distribution, and fitting a non-stationary process. Histogram. The frequency distribution of histogram is useful in determining the shape of a distribution. So let us see the procedure for drawing a histogram. Step 1 is divide the data into class interval of equal width. Step 2 is find the frequencies for each class interval. Step 3 is take the class intervals along x-axis and frequencies along y-axis. Step 4 is plot the frequencies on the vertical axis, or plot the data by raising the rectangles on x-axis. Okay. So the number of class intervals depends on the number of observations, the dispersion of the data. So for example, if you take a continuous data, it corresponds to the probability density function of a theoretical distribution. Okay. So for discrete data, it corresponds to the probability mass function. So if you have few data points, then you have to combine the adjacent cells to eliminate the ragged appearance of the histogram. So to understand what do you mean by histogram, let us take one example. The vehicle arrival example. Okay. The number of vehicles arriving at the northwest corner of an intersection in a 5-minute period between 7 a.m. to 7:05 a.m. was monitored for 5 work days over a period of 20 weeks. So the table is shown. It shows the results of the data. The first entry in the table, that means 0 corresponding to that you have 12. Okay, the first entry in the table indicates that there were 12 5-minute periods, okay, during which 0 vehicles arrived. Okay, next you have 10 periods. 10 periods during which 1 vehicle arrived, and so on. Okay, so here there are 3 different histograms. The first one was drawn directly by taking the data. Okay, so here you can see number of frequencies. Okay, the next diagram they have derived it from the previous diagram, that is previous diagram is A, represented by A. Next diagram you have B. Okay, so the diagram B is being written based on the first diagram. Okay, how they have written, that is you can see that from 0 to about 10 units the range is same, is it? It has varied maybe up to 10 units, so it is almost same, and again it is bit raising after 10 units, 10 to 20 it may be in the one single range, and again 20 to 30 again it's in the same range. So once it's decreased, again increased, again decreased. So you can see that